One time. Let's go. Barber College Success, brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy JC, Crown Cuts Academy Bristol, and Craig's Crown Cuts Downtown JC. Spreading love the Tri-City way is one way, but you know the only way is spreading love the Crown Cuts way. Today we got a boss episodes. We're gonna come live and direct right at you in your living room. But you know what Barber College's success is about? Is educating the barbers out there to elevate themselves, how to get better at their craft, how to navigate through that 12 months of school, whether it may be barber school, cosmetology school, aesthetics, nails, or whatever school it may be. One doctor left a review and said, hey, man, that podcast is more stronger than just barber content. It inspired me in life. I'm like, what? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But today we got some special guests, banging guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves before I jump into this episode. Let's go. My guy to my right. He's coming back in 2 weeks, by the way.
Yes.
Boom.
Yes, sir. My name's Ammi. I live here in Johnson City. I serve here at a local profit. We help with the homeless family. Baptist Church.
Major.
I serve on the city commission here locally in Johnson City.
Big time. Big movements today.
Yes,
movements.
Sir. Yes, sir.
My name is Natanya Rochelle Conley, and I am the owner of NRC Design Solutions, a business consulting firm. And I'm happy to be here with these two strong, prominent men in our community today.
Natanya got the Cadillac of mics, by the way. I know.
I do. I know y'all are jealous.
Y'all not in the studio, but she got the Cadillac of mics. They had a Mercedes emblem on it.
Absolutely. The
If you
best for the queen.
I'm telling you, man, that mic right there. I'm jealous. What do you think, Aaron?
Oh, man, she got the mic of the year.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I'm talking
yeah.
about.
You need to get a Grammy for that.
Absolutely.
But today we have a big episode for you. We're going to talk about networking, the importance of networking. What can it do for you as a student, as a barber? When should you start networking? What does networking mean? But first, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors, Colossal Brand, and shout out to Feed Spot for ranking as the top 25 guests in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Barber content, that's major. Check us out. Like us, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell someone who's trying to get educated in this industry, because Barber College Success is doing major things, big things. And all we try to do is just drop knowledge, drop free knowledge, drop gems for the casual observer, but for the serious observer also, because we want you to boss your experience in barber school and make it the most.
Yeah.
Because you know what we say, make your first like your last, and make your last like your first, and make that your everything.
Still waiting on Jay-Z to come through with that sponsorship. He's coming.
That's from Jay-Z's song, the first song. Make your first like your last, last like your first, and make that your everything.
Oh, yeah.
And once you come with that consistent energy, nothing can stop you.
Yeah.
I'm all the way up. Yes, sir.
That's good.
Yeah, we have fun in this podcast. We rock it. But the importance of networking. When you hear networking, what does networking mean to you?
Well, if I may start off by saying, man, thanks for the invitation to be on this podcast.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Man, Mr. Charles, you are the real G. He's a legend in our community doing a lot of big things. So we look up to you, and we appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you.
To impact lives here in our region and in the world too. So
yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But what I do believe about networking, your network is your net worth.
Yes, sir.
There's an old proverb that says, "He who has many friends is rich."
Yes, bring it on. Bring it on.
It's not what's in your bank account; it's who you're connected to.
Right.
And if you got a lot of friends, you'll never be broke a day in your life.
Right.
You won't be sleeping on somebody's couch or in your car because you have friends. And so it's so important not to burn bridges. It's so important to treat people with kindness, respect, and honor, because you don't never know who they'll be in life.
Because you represent your name.
There you go.
That's your resume.
That's right.
And one thing that I'm learning as being a new business owner is that networking is building relationships.
Yes.
And you never know when you may have to phone a friend to give you like a, help you out with an event or whatever the case may be. But I know these past 3 months that Craig, like I said, I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to work with you.
Hey man,
And,
each one teach one.
Yes, and
Iron
it's been
sharpens
great.
iron.
Yes,
all
and
day.
definitely we want to pull each other up, right?
Yes.
And help each other
yes,
with our
yes,
business.
yes,
So
yes.
yes.
And one of the key things, like a lot of my students always encounter when I talk to them, they're like, I have a hard time keeping a conversation. I have a hard time. I run out of things to say. I'm like, I understand that. It's just nervousness. You do a good job. But over time, there's things that you can do to help yourself be able to have a conversation with a client. Because the most important part of our industry is the consultation. And the consultation will tell you about the client. The client will to know about you, if they're going to come back, if you're going to give them a good haircut, all those things in the consultation. And that's how you build up.
Mm-hmm.
And students, I tell them all the time, while in school, this is the time to practice networking, reaching out to people. But they get so complacent and get shy sometimes and don't understand the importance of it.
Oh yeah, you gotta learn how to talk to people and have conversations in person.
Yes.
And not just through text message
Right,
or online.
right. Mm-hmm.
Because, there's a time you're gonna have to look at
Right.
I got to get a good feel of you.
A good sense.
I mean, you got a great vibe. I mean, you said, well, I was smiling. I was like, man, it's a good vibe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you got to be able to vibe with somebody. Network is not going to be good. It's going to be terrible.
Because people can tell if you're closed open just by a smile. Just by a smile, someone can tell if you're closed, if you're open. And in the service industry that we are in, it's imperative and it's important to have open.
Around, but it's just you have to put yourself out there and just start being around people.
Right.
And it may not be that you're always carrying on that conversation, but you're watching how people are interacting with one another, and you could say, "Oh, I could pick up on that," or just go and say hi to someone.
Right.
I found myself doing that too. Just go and say hi. How are you doing? And that opens up a whole conversation because that person's like, you're actually saying hi to me and asking me, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
So those are things that you can start to do just to get a conversation going.
But it also gives you like an edge, because being in the service industry, you could be in a restaurant, you could be a greeter, you could be at a hotel, anywhere you're in the service industry, it's important that you're able to speak to people, because you're the first line of defense. And if they see that they come through that first line of defense and you guys reach a common ground, you're going to have them for life.
Oh, yeah.
Repeated customer.
Oh, yeah. And they're going to remember how you made them feel.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They're going to remember their experience.
So think about this, right? As far as customer service. Can you remember, let's go in a restaurant. We'll use a restaurant for an example. The 5 best services that you've ever had through someone in the restaurant. You remember that?
Can you remember that?
Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, they got to be in the top 5.
How may I serve you today? How may I serve you
My
today?
pleasure.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But to break it down even on a simpler term, could you remember someone over the years who have stuck out to you? Like an individual server who stuck out to you? I can remember about like 4 or 5 in my lifetime. I remember I went to this Buffalo burger restaurant. And I went to, I think it was another restaurant. I forgot its name. What come to me? But I remember those people. You should not be able to remember from an individual person unless they do something out of the world, extraordinary. Because across the board, we've eaten in over hundreds and hundreds of restaurants. Service across the board should be the same.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So when you remember that individual person, it almost like it shows you that if you stand out in the service industry, you will rise to the cream, because it's not something that's common.
Right.
Customer service across the board is low.
Right.
And for years. So I say that to say this, it's easier for you now to stand out. And it's simple things like saying, smiling.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning. Greeting people with a smile. Greeting people with something that's with values that you're taught, but people forget about that. And you stand out.
And you have to be welcoming too. And just like Craig said about the smile on your face, if you have a smile on your face, people will gravitate towards you unless you're just like, just all frowny face or whatever. But you have to be open and welcoming to people to come and have that conversation.
And I understand there's a lot going on in life.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
And sometimes you got to find a reason to smile.
yes,
Yes.
Not that you have to
Yes.
fake it, but
No.
there's some things that we can smile about,
Mhm.
because if you have that smile, you can help somebody's day be a whole lot better.
yes.
10 out of 10 times. 10 out of 10 times.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt, you can help somebody's day go better. Because as you say, people go through so many things, especially since, I'm not even gonna say since the pandemic, since the beginning of time.
Oh yeah.
Everyone has a story to tell. But you could be that sunshine in a room.
Mm.
You can be that bright light in a room. You could be that light coming out at night.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's so important, again, going back to the service industry, that we have to be the one to exude that confidence and that politeness first.
Right. And I'm a customer service person through and through. With my job at the phone company, I've been there for 23 years, and customer service is in my heart.
Mm.
But then I see that industry is just falling like to the wayside because
yeah.
people don't want to take the time to say, is there anything else I can help you with? Is this okay or whatever? And it disheartens me because customer service, people remember, like you said, how you make them feel.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily what you may do for them, but they will remember how you make them feel.
And again, it just starts with like basic values. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
No, sir.
Right. Respect.
Respect. Yes, ma'am. Please. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are something that was built in all of us.
Right.
Because I can't speak for everybody. I know I had grandparents and parents and
Yes.
uncles and aunts. And those are things that are instilled in all family homes that I think. So those basic values, you could just take it into school and use it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And one thing I will say, when you were talking about restaurants, I just had an experience a couple of weeks ago when I was out of town at a Fridays. I love Fridays. And we were having a conversation at the table, and the waitress said, would you like for me to come back because you guys are having a conversation? And we
big.
said yes. And I was like, I have never had anyone ask me that.
So that's my point. That's my point. Initially, I started. If you could highlight that one time, it's bad.
Yeah.
Because you should not be able to highlight that. What do you guys think?
Man, I like to eat out when I can, but I also like to cook.
Right.
But there's nothing worse than going to a place that has good food but has stink service.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have good service and all right food, because attitude is everything.
Everything.
Attitude's everything. Attitude determines your altitude.
Yes.
You got a bad attitude, then it's going to determine where you go in life.
Mm.
And so a lot of times we have to check ourselves to say, hey, is my attitude stank today?
Right.
Or am I vibing good?
Pastor Murphy's got a word. He's
Oh
trying
no,
to get
I didn't come to preach today, but look,
but it's
I'm
common.
trying to add value.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
And it's not even about preaching. Again, it's just basic values that we should all have. And that can take you a long way.
Right.
And that's why I try to push the students, let them know we role play at the school a lot of time, how to deal with clients. I remember I was talking to a student, and I told him, let's role play. So when you go into a shop to audition for a job, some of the things that I think you should do: go in there and look the owner in the eyes, talk to him, shake his hand, check the bathroom, take the initiative and show some customer service, and just clean the bathroom up. He told his dad that I told him when he got on a job interview that he should go and sweep the shop and check the bathroom. And his dad could not decipher that.
Mm-hmm.
He thought I was telling him, when you go on a job interview, you should just sweep the shop. I was like, if you don't decipher that, something's wrong.
Right.
Mm.
It shouldn't take too much. You shouldn't look at that as a negative. Someone telling you you're going on a job interview, you're trying to impress the owner by doing those little basic things. Customer service.
Yeah.
He didn't understand it. And I didn't want to go back and forth and explain that point to him, because if it took him that long, his son could understand. And his son went to his elder to explain to him, and he didn't break it down.
Mm.
I don't know what else I could have done.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I said to say this, it's easy to stand out. And I was trying to show him how to stand out. That's what we're talking about. And this customer service is just like, hey, I see you guys having a conversation. Do you mind me coming back? and that just blew your mind.
Absolutely did.
And I use this example all the time to students in the barber shop, in the school. I said, close your eyes for like 10 seconds. Close your eyes for 10 seconds. So you picture this: you go into a shop, and this guy comes in. He's well dressed. He has a briefcase. He has a hat on. He's just dressed to the T. He opens up his briefcase. All his clippers are folded in a velvet sachet, and he unfolds them and lays them down on his station before he gives the service. And then everyone else, the other 8 guys in the shop, is coming in regular, just waltzing in. They there. Who do you want to get your haircut from? Open your eyes.
The guy with the briefcase.
Right.
And that's
absolutely, hands down.
And that's what I'm saying. It's easy to stand out because in customer service, people don't stand out. And he might give a terrible haircut, but his service presentation, how he presents himself, has you intrigued.
The presentation, and he showed up well, like he was ready. He showed up. He had all his equipment out, ready to work.
So, and that's how easy it is in our industry to separate ourselves. It's so easy. And I was talking to a friend of mine last week, and he said, the world is set up now where things are just handed to you to be proactive, to be great, to be good, but nobody wants to take it.
It does take a lot to, like you said, we've got to get back to basics. I feel like we've gotten so far away from how we treat one another, how we talk to one another, and it's getting back to basics with customer service.
Basic values.
Basic values.
Please, thank you.
Basic values: honor, respect,
Yes.
integrity.
Yes.
Right. Those things are essential. How many jobs that I've gotten just by saying yes sir or no sir, or how I dressed in the interview, or how I presented myself. I can't name how many opportunities that has gotten me just by how I presented myself.
Right.
And that's so important.
And to the casual barber student, I just want you to understand the importance of customer service and the importance of how you can set yourself apart, because we have listeners from around the country, around the world right now, and in China, in Russia, in the Caribbean, in Venezuela. And we get feedback and reviews from people around the world and just saying, hey, thank you for this podcast. You have inspired us and me to be in a position. So the information we give is so powerful. And there's someone in there who wants to get to that level of how do I become a master barber? And that's all we do for you today. Just drop those gems to show you those things that set you apart. And I think the first thing you should see when you're going into the door, opening the door to your career in master barbering, is customer service.
Right on. You know, when you can get in the chair, get your hair cut, right? It's so important that that barber has dialogue with you. I mean, you can be engaged in a barbershop talk with everybody else waiting on their cut, but it's priceless for that one barber just to focus in on who's in that chair. Because if you don't, it may be the last time that person comes back to you.
Yes.
They want to feel important. They're going through things. They want to have dialogue. You don't know what they just encountered before they got in that chair.
Right.
But if you take time out of your day just to value them and to just build them up and encourage them, they'll come back.
Your reputation can be affected. Your income can be affected. And retention of clients can be affected.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I mean, it is. And when those things are affected, what are you in the industry for?
Yeah.
Because those things that keeps you going forward, those things that make people happy to come and see you and greet you, because you hit it on the nose about the food could be okay, but the customer service, because I don't cut hair much. I cut hair. I got some clients who just need me to cut their hair. And every time they sit down and I'm finished with the haircut, then first of all, they don't even look in the mirror. When I show them the mirror, like, Craig, I'm good. So that's telling me they come for more than just the haircut.
Right.
The relationship that we've built over time and the customer service and the gratitude that they get from me just cutting their hair. And that's what you want.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll say, because I get my nails done. J. Claire's Salon, Wendy
Shout
Charles, owner, Craig's wife. And she's been doing my nails for years, and I trust her. Every time I go and sit down, it's like, Wendy, do whatever you want to, because we've built that rapport. My massage therapist, we have a great relationship. I've been seeing her for 11 years, Massage Essentials, Bristol, Virginia. Wonderful. And that's what makes me feel good, because they know me. They know what I want. My massage therapist knows as soon as I get on the, she's like, oh, you need that or whatever, because we've built that relationship over the years. So it's essential.
And for students, if you listen out there, these are things that can be worked on in school. And that's what school. That's why I tell students there should be no dead time in school, because these things are things that you can work on in school. You don't go to school just to work on flicking your wrist.
Yeah.
You're more than just a cutter. I want you to be more than just. I want you to be a master, and a master barber knows how to take care of their clients, how to give clients an experience. An experience should start when you first start. Don't try to rush everything towards the last month of school and think you're going to get it. Over time, you might get it in the shop, but then it's not going to be too late. It's just going to make a transition into the shop, into the workforce, a little bit more difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Pace yourself.
Right.
Trust the process. Isn't that what we always say? Trust the
Trust
process.
the process,
Yeah.
and build relationships.
Build
Yeah.
relationships.
And as simple as we have Shay, they call her Mama Shay at the school, and
Yes.
she's like,
Hey, Shay.
shout out to Shay. So people will come into the school, get their haircuts, and she'll make sure the client does not go back into the lab. The lab is where we cut the hair, we call it the laboratory.
Yeah.
And she makes sure that the students come up front to greet the clients until they come up front. And if they sit in the back and say, do one of these hand motions, come on, I'm ready. She's like, no, come to the front of the building, greet your client, shake their hand, look them in the eye, and you know what I'm saying? Exchange some pleasantries.
Yeah.
Say your name. What is your name? How you doing today? Start the process from there. Have a little walk to your chair.
Yeah.
Give them that experience. Make them feel comfortable.
Right.
And that's what it's about.
You know, I just got back from a little time away with the family. Shout out to Court, my wife, and
Yes.
Remy, my son.
Yes.
Shout
Hey,
out.
Courtney.
Shout out. Yeah, I love them so much. But my wife is an avid Disney fan.
Yes.
Not because of the mouse and all the movies and cartoons, but the experience.
Right.
I mean, when you go to Disney World, there's an experience that you have.
Mhm.
Yep.
And we keep going back. We go back every year. And I like that my wife has a good time there.
Mhm.
You know, she has
That's
a
big.
blast there, and
That's
it's
big.
all about the experience.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's
And we
big.
pay for the experience. It ain't cheap, but the experience is priceless.
That's big. But you know what I'm saying? It's priceless. And it makes you want to go back, and you can talk about it and tell
Yeah.
a friend
And create memories.
and create memories.
Yes.
And that's the greatest things. And that right there is almost better than any gift you can get.
Right.
Those memorable things that someone do for you while they sit in your chair.
Mm.
Those memorable things someone do for you when you go to Disney World. And your kids, they treat your kid like special. They treat your wife like special. And they treat you even extra special. So I'll share a story with you guys. This lady sent me a message about like 6 years ago on Facebook. And she said to me, don't quote me on this, but it was something similar to this. She said, Craig, thank you for being there for my kids. When I brought them to the barbershop, they was 7 and 8. I was so broken. You didn't understand what it meant to me when they came into the shop, and you asked them about their homework. You asked them about their day. You asked them about what they did, because you was an extension to help me raise them. You know, just simple. And I didn't understand that, but I understand it now. And that made me just want to do my job even extra better. Right. Because people are, like you say, you never know what people going through.
That's right.
I mean, it was a longer note than that, but that was the extent of the conversation. Just thank you. Just thank you, because you asked my kids about their day. You asked them about their grades. You built a relationship with them and a rapport with them where they felt comfortable, where I could drop them off some days and go run an errand and come back because I know they were safe.
Right.
And you planted that seed. And you asked the question, how's your day going? It doesn't take a whole lot for you to ask somebody, how's your day going? Because you don't know what they've been through. And then, like you said, you planted that seed in her life with her children.
Yes.
And that's just awesome.
And
Awesome.
some things that helped me be able to be a great communicator is just reading the newspaper, just having a worldly view. Because if you read the newspaper, and shout out to my grandmother, I used to read the newspaper when I was young. She had it. I just read it, just go through from the front page to the back, and then fold it back up neatly. That's one of my pet peeves. Always folding the newspaper back neatly. People are like, why are you folding the newspaper back neatly? Even the Sunday paper, I'll fold them back to the sales section and make sure, like almost like iron it out and put it back in the same spot. But that's just a discipline that I had anyway. But that's a short story. But reading the newspaper helps you on a worldly scale to see what's going on, from local to regional to national and on the world, and then even some sports. And all those things in a nutshell is things that you can talk about.
Yeah.
And people, you will never run out of things to talk about within an hour. You can talk about things that, you know what I mean?
All kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I got a little story to share. I'm gonna share about this guy right here.
Okay.
So I remember years ago, Craig was more in the shop now than he is traveling. And I get my hair cut probably once a year to treat myself, but not anymore. When you don't have as much hair, you just cut it off. You can take care of yourself at the
Oh,
house.
yeah, that's me and you.
But Craig cut my hair, and the first time I met him, we was in the bar, and he just took time to get to know who I was, and I really wasn't in a talking mood, but he just kept conversating and dialoguing, and I was like, man, this brother's really interested in me. What really got me, after we handled the transaction, this brother followed me outside and had conversation with me outside of the shop, and I'm just like, wow, that's never happened to me before. And the experience that I had there, it has really built on our relationship today, because I mean, he really took time to get to know who I am.
Right.
And we've been building a relationship ever since.
Sure.
But for a barber to follow you outside of the shop,
Right.
he almost walked me to the car, but he didn't. But but that meant a lot, because it's the experience, and we can't shake that. It's the experience. How do you make somebody feel when they're in your presence for what, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long it takes? Because if you make that one person feel good, they're gonna tell other people.
Yes.
Like look, like the woman at the well with Jesus.
Yes.
When she had an encounter, and I hate to get spiritual.
No, this is the precursor for the next episode coming up.
She had an encounter with Jesus at the well. She was going through a whole lot, right? But how Jesus made her feel in the midst of her having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 men and husbands in her life. When she left Jesus's presence, she went back to the town and told everybody. She said, you got to come see this man.
Yes.
Who told me everything about my life, and my life is no longer the same. She became an instant evangelist after one encounter with him.
But that's the things that people need to hear, you know what I'm saying? Because those things are real life.
Yeah.
And when you go into a career for yourself, which is going to take some time, you want to come out to shoot really good.
Right.
You want to come out the starting gate really good. And all these things that we're talking about, all these gems we're talking about, are just to give students that confidence and that confirmation. It can happen. And again, even if you're in a career being a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, those things are essential. Those things are I can't talk about customer service enough. And so that's why the importance of this podcast, because I'm pretty sure like every week we have about like 5 or 6 reviews. Man, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. And I'm happy we are doing it, because it's just a reminder to some people who going through that those tough times, the 10, 12 months, just to keep them motivated and let them know, hey, what you working for, you're going to get. What you working for, don't take it lightly, because you're doing something that you love and you're making it your passion. These are the tools, these are the pillars that's going to help you sustain this industry and for you to last a long time in the industry and see what it might bring you.
Definitely. And like you're saying, with the program for 10 to 12 months, like I said, whenever I was going through like my master's program, it was kind of like, oh my goodness, is this ever going to be over? But once you get over that hump, it's like, dang, it's been 10 years.
Yes.
Since, and I can say I got through it.
Right.
And this is what helped me. So yeah, you got to take the bumps and bruises, right, along the way, but trust the process.
Trust the process.
Don't give up.
Happy birthday, Lathan.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, but
customer service. Happy birthday.
But check that out for real. Simple things like that. Remembering your clients' birthdays.
Yes, their pets or their kids
or whatever. Their wife, husband.
The things that are important to them. Yes.
And that's a conversational piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little things like that. I mean, we was being, hey, stop the podcast, but those things are important in what we're talking about.
Yes. And those little things mean so much for somebody to say, hey, happy birthday.
And for customer service, you have to realize that people are the greatest resource, right?
Yes.
If you don't value the customer, which is the person, then why be in it?
Yes.
You don't have any service.
Man, I had a student
without the customer.
That's right.
I had a student within the past 2 years, and it was almost like pulling teeth trying to talk to him. And I was praying and hoping that, man, you need to switch up a little bit. I mean, and students would try to engage with him and he would just like be dry. And I'm like, and I know, when I know of this industry, I know he was going on the wrong path. And I'm like, and it wasn't hard, but I'd kind of talk to him about, hey, you need to change up your attitude a little bit, smile a little bit more. But he was just so, but he wanted to be a barber. I didn't want to take that dream away from him.
Right.
And I would constantly tell him, hey, man, you need to change your attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And not in a direct way, but in a more personal way. Hey, I think you need to approach this differently. Try it this way. And just engage in conversation just to make him smile. And it was hard penetrating that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And make a long story short, I don't know if he's still in this industry, but the last couple of things I've heard of him, one of the students told me he went to a job and the guy was sick and he needed someone to watch the shop. And the guy told him he can't trust him being there, so he let him go.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's hard. I don't see people letting people go when they start out in the business life, especially in barbering, especially when they're not going to be there. Need someone to kind of help retain the clients. And one of the main reasons, it was because of his demeanor and his approach to things, just his attitude. And I just hope and pray that as a master barber, to all the students out there, you have to have an opening demeanor. You have to smile. You have to be personable, because and I think he got let go and it wasn't an explanation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of tough, because without an explanation from the boss telling you, I'm letting you go because of this.
How's he supposed to get better?
How's he supposed to get better?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then he went to another gig and I heard the same thing. They let him go. I just hope that he can turn it around and understand that in this industry that he's in, he has to be personable.
Right. And one thing that you just brought up too is that we have to be open for feedback.
Yes.
So in that situation, if someone were to let me go for a job or whatever, I'd be like, well, what was it that I did? You know, so that way you could learn from that. Even if they don't give you one up front, be proactive and say, well, what is it that I did that wasn't good or whatever? So then you could take that and, like you said, and build from it. But if no one's telling you what you're doing wrong, how are you supposed to learn?
But a lot of times the mistake people make, they are so closed off, and their expression and their demeanor tell other people that don't approach me.
So you always got to be coachable. Isn't that the word?
Yes.
You use?
Yes.
Craig says you got to be coachable.
You have to.
Yeah.
But when you have that wall up and you show people that you don't want to be approached, a lot of times people are not going to approach you because they don't want that.
Right.
They don't want you barking at them. They don't want you biting at them because they don't know. So, and that's even important, is how a lot of people block their blessings by being unapproachable, uncoachable. Just that look. If somebody tells you one time or two times, hey, man, just change your personality a little bit. And you shouldn't take it offensive. Just say thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Receive that.
Receive that.
Yeah. That's a blessing.
It's a blessing, because a lot of times we block our blessings.
Because we get so stubborn and headstrong. And I'm going to do it my way.
That's pride. And pride comes before the fall.
And
Right.
you got to let that go. You got to let your pride
go. And I know a lot of time there's some instructors out there who it's hard for them to give feedback. And I love I love my industry. I love what I do so much. I go to work every day just happy. I've never had a day where I said I didn't want to go to work in the past since 2004.
Wow.
I never had a day where I said I want to go to work since 2004. And maybe before that. But since I got into this industry, my shop, and now the school, I never had a day when I said I don't want to go to work. I want to go to school to teach. On the weekends, I'm happy, I'm off, but I'm looking forward to coming back to work on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
And I work on Mondays with the podcast.
And I serve as Craig's assistant, so I know how I know how he gets. But we work well together,
of course.
Because Craig is like, I want to do this, and I'm like, okay, let's get it. You know,
right.
And I'm connecting him with you.
So I'm talking to students sometimes and telling them some things that they don't even want to hear sometimes. And I know some of them, I'm like, hey, and I use this analogy to kind of get through them. If you're in a golf course and you see one guy hitting the golf ball as far as possible, and the next guy, he's out there just hitting the ball and just dropping like a foot in front of him, who would you want to learn from? The person who's hitting the ball far.
Right.
So I was like, hey, I've been in this industry for this amount of years.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you something, I'm telling you something because I have some experience in it. I'm not making it up. I'm not going to put you in a position to fail because I love what I do. I haven't had a day where I didn't want to go to work. If it's coming from me more often than not, it's going to be the truth. It's going to be something to elevate you, give you a hand up. But sometimes it's just trying to like pick your nails. And I understand with instructors out there, it's difficult sometimes trying to reach the students, but as our jobs, we can't stop.
Right.
Because we're in this industry because we love what we do.
And I admire Craig and people such as yourself that want to let people in on your trade and teach them. Because
Yes.
like you said, you've been in it for over 2 decades and you're willing to give that knowledge to other people to help grow
For free.
And and I am like really admiring you for that because some people instructors just want to keep it.
I mean, well, you can't grow when you take, because someone had to be Martin Luther King ripple. If someone wasn't his ripple, where would he be? Where would we be?
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So that's how you have to look at things. You can't hoard knowledge. Right. Knowledge is something that's meant to be given and shared.
Well, freely give as you freely receive.
Yeah. So I don't understand people who just try to
hold it in.
Yeah, want to be the first one to have it, only one to have it. Can't go on. You can't.
You can only hold so much. You got to release something and get more.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I never understood it, Aaron. I don't know. You know, but some people, like, and I giggle sometimes when some of the reviews come back. Man, you giving out free knowledge. I'm like, but when you love what you do, you want to see someone else relishing it. You want to see someone else smile. You want to see someone else have a good day. You want to see someone go into the industry, go into a job where they love, because there's so many Americans, but so many people in this world who go to jobs that they hate. So if I could share my joy and say, hey, relish in my joy, enjoy what I enjoyed for the past 20 years. I mean, why not put someone else in a position to succeed?
Well, if you don't love people, don't be in customer service.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to, if you're going to be in customer service, you got to love people. You got to value them.
Yes.
It's so important.
It makes your job so much easier.
And you in competition with somebody, if you know it or not. Right. Like one of my mentors told me, and he's passed on, he says, hey, if you don't flirt with your wife, somebody else will.
Simple as that.
That's real talk.
Simple as that.
And so make sure you make her feel important.
Yes.
You date her. You value her, because there's some other guys out there that wouldn't mind doing that.
Yes.
Because if you don't take care of your job, somebody else will, or try to. Right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's important. That's important. So the importance of this podcast, man, again, for students, is just to kind of get a grasp on things. Understand you have this 10 minutes journey.
Right.
A lot of them say, this is long. I gotta, this is a long.
It's a process.
This is too long. I'm like, 12 months to get a job, a career that you can pay back. 12 months where you can get a job where you're going to double what you paid for school. Some students even triple. That's not, you're not looking at 4 years where you upwards or down like 150, 190, whatever, how much $1,000.
Paying student loans, yeah.
You know what I mean? And
you get out there and hit the ground running.
Yes.
And sometimes one thing that I've learned over the past few weeks is that sometimes it's not always about money. It's about building that relationship with that person. It's not always about money. Even with your job, if you're doing something that you love, we always want to say money, but if you're doing something, it's going to come, right? The money is going to come.
I mean, of course, that's a given. Like I said before in this show, when I started barbering, I never thought about the money. I never thought about the money. I was just so happy just to cut hair and have a canvas and watch it leave every 30 minutes. I wasn't even thinking about the money. I wasn't even, if I'm doing something, I don't want the money to define me, because what is money? Money doesn't determine success, because I've always been happy. I was happy as a child. Even when I didn't realize I was poor, I was happy. You know what I mean? I was happy. So that same energy I had as a child, the same energy I have now, I was happy. So, I mean, what is money that's going to make you happy? When the relationships are not there and you have the money, what do you have?
Well, relationships is the new currency.
Yes.
It's not money. It's relationships. And those things cycle. They build. They grow.
And the funny thing is, right, this industry right here is where you everyone. So if you start when you're in school building those relationships, 12 months of just solid, strong relationships, that can take you so far. Because you will, by time thinker, you will cut a doctor. You will cut someone in care. You will cut someone who's a mechanic. You will cut someone who is painting. You will cut someone who's an electrician. You'll cut someone who's a plumber. And you build on those relationships and foster those relationships and make them your friends and treat them special. Guess what? What do you think they'll do for you?
Put you on.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you're gonna see your account grow.
Yeah. And it's that simple. They're gonna put you on. And that's how a relationship is built. Person come treat them like a king. Make sure that you're happy to see them again. Spend you in school when you was good.
Yeah.
So if they come to see when you're in school, you got them when they're in school.
Yeah.
Imagine what's gonna happen when you're out of school.
Right.
That is, that's what do you guys think?
It's great. And like you said, that creating those relationships, building relationships is important. It means more, I feel like than money. Because like I said, when you build those relationships, you're building your rapport, right? You're building like and like you said, when you build that, when you've got your client that's a plumber or whatever, and then something goes on at your house, hey, can you come and check this? You know, get this water stop running.
You ain't got to Google it,
right?
Somebody.
Because you can call your friend, hey, can you come help me with
And
this?
guess what? December 25th, if you have the relationship, he's coming.
Yes.
November 26th, if you have the relationship, he's coming. 2 o'clock in the morning, that pipe busted, and you have the relationship, he's coming.
Yeah.
Like I said, let's get back to the basics.
Hey, and not only that, right before Easter, if you're a good barber, you made them feel good, they come before Easter Sunday. Come on now.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? But that's the relationship. And I should tell like my clients, and I tell my students this right now. I tell my clients when I was cutting hair, I'm available to you 24/7. 24/7. So if I have someone who wanted to go, and it's happened before, someone wanted to get on the plane at 9 o'clock, they needed me to get there to the 6 o'clock, 6 to cut their hair. Guess what? I'm there. And I'm doing it with a smile because that's my client and he needs me. But some people look at it like, man,
I ain't getting up early.
Yeah.
And they're going to remember that too.
Of course. And it's your opportunity to really, and those moments right there, right? Those critical moments, those like dire moments, that's when you really just grab your clients by the horns. When it's an emergency sequence and they need you.
Oh yeah.
You got that person for life.
Oh yeah. They're gonna say, hey, he was there for me.
Yeah.
I can count on him.
But think about that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody called you and I remember getting in the shop. The shop is closing at 7 o'clock in the evening. Everybody wants to leave and 2 people walk in. I mean, I'm tired and I'm like, you know what? I'll patronize these clients and just cut their hair. A lot of bars would just walk. And that's how I'm able to build my network over time. Just doing those little critical things for people, showing them like, you know what, I care about you enough. I'm about to close. I'm tired. I'm cutting all day Saturday. But you know what? Let me just patronize you and not even doing it for something back in return, but understanding that person is coming to you and wanting that service.
Right.
Those times are the important times when people come in. And I tell students that all the time. Oh, the school is over at 3:30. It's 3 o'clock and they packing up. Somebody comes in. Oh, I gotta leave at 3:30. I was like, build that relationship.
Right.
Cut that hair. I mean, I've seen students, and it's not far-fetched for students to get like $100 tips in the school. I've seen that. How do you get those big tips in school? Is by doing those little things that nobody else will do.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's good.
I've seen students get $100 tips. Students talked about it all the time.
I need to start cutting hair then.
But the thing is, right, we talked about earlier in the podcast, people don't want to stand out. And it's easy to stand out in any industry, especially ours.
Yeah.
Do those little things that nobody else will do. Clean up after yourself. Be the one who's helping the instructors in the school setting. Coming early, leaving late. Don't complain.
Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself.
That's right.
It's not a sacrifice, it's an investment. Sacrifice and investment is just 2 words, I think. The similar words. But sacrificing seems just so negative.
Right.
So let's keep it in a positive tone. Investment. Sacrifice, people don't think they get nothing back. Investment,
You do.
you do.
Come on now.
So invest in yourself, invest in your craft. Make your first day like your last day, and make your last day like your first day. And then make that your everything. And that you're going to be good.
That's good.
Yeah. The first song by Jay-Z. Check it out, everybody. That's one of my best songs. Remember when I heard that song? It was on replay at the gym for like 30 minutes.
He's still trying to get Jay-Z to come on.
I mean, shout out to Jay. Jay,
Yes.
thank you for inspiring the podcast and millions of students out there. That's big.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, if you hear it, just tell us, hey, appreciate you.
We just need a voice recording.
Yeah,
Just
that's
send
it.
us a
That's
snippet.
it. That's it. I know it's unlikely to happen, but still, hey, you never know.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not going to give up hope on that.
No, because we're here for the people.
That's right.
We are the people's champ.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
The people, the student champ. Just trying to elevate and let people understand, hey, there's a payday at the end.
Trust the
And-
process, and let's get back to basics and start treating each other decent.
And the
Yeah.
process ain't always comfortable. It's
No.
not going to be a cakewalk. You're going to
No.
go through some trials and tribulations. You're going to go through some challenges. That's part of the process.
It's part of it.
But be
Man,
encouraged. You'll get through it.
Yes.
I wrote this quote down. I heard my cousin say, and I was like, he was saying it to me. I was like, I gotta write that down. I'm put it on the podcast. Shout out to you, Hoyt. He said, you can't gain wisdom in minimal time.
Which means you got to go through some things to gain that wisdom, right?
You can't gain wisdom in a minimal time. You can't. And wisdom comes with time, with age,
Right.
with doing things over and over again. Wisdom comes with trial and error and understanding that, hey, you're investing in yourself.
Right.
It's an investment you're doing. An investment will pay off. That's why we have grandparents.
Right.
That's why we do.
Yeah.
And they have all the wisdom. And that's why when you hear someone say, like, when like someone passed who's older, you don't lost a book, you don't lost the library.
Yeah.
That's wisdom.
Right.
And it takes time to acquire.
You got to live life.
You have to live life and understand it's not going to come in a day. It's not going to come in 2 days. So when you're in school in a month and you say you haven't learned nothing,
You still got 9 to 11 more months left.
Well,
Right?
if you ain't learned nothing in a month, you ain't open to learn.
yeah,
That's true too.
You got to be open to receive.
yeah,
You can't receive with a closed fist, right?
no.
You got to have your hands open.
But what they want to do, they want to be able to come into school and be able to boss out a blurry fade.
Instant.
It takes
Yeah.
time. It's a whole, whole more process that you have to learn, which things are we talking about?
Yeah.
The customer service,
And that's what I always
building
say
your
about
clientele.
Craig, that people see where Craig's at now, but no one's seen your process in 2004 up until now to what you had to do to get to this point.
Oh,
They just
yeah.
see where you're at right now.
Some people don't think I never struggle, and but I think when you don't complain, people don't think you just got it easy.
Yeah.
When you just sit there and be like, complain and dang, you gonna do something. I guess that's what it is. You gotta pick a boulder up over your head like Hulk and throw it.
Because we all have things going on in life, right?
Yeah, we do.
Of course.
Of course we do. It's just how do we deal with it?
My homeboy in college, Anthony Stringfield, he has First String Sports in Norfolk, Virginia. Shout out String. He'd be like, Craig, everybody got a story to tell. We just sit there, be playing video games in college, and we just have these interesting conversations. And I remember one day, like, Craig, you know what? Everybody got a story. Everybody got a story to tell. And it's so true.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone's story is different. And your story's not going to be like mine. Mine's not going to be like yours, but it's going to be your story. That's what makes you so interesting. It's so different, which is
Right.
good.
Oh, yeah.
And how did we get to that story? Because we kept living,
Kept living.
kept trying, kept
Yeah.
going. And my word is always pivot. If something comes out, you don't stop, just pivot. You may have to go in a different direction, but keep moving.
You can't gain wisdom in minimal time.
Mm.
And the wisdom of being a master barber, it takes time.
Mm.
And it's not going to be while you're in school.
He like a Mr. Miyagi, ain't he?
That's him.
dropping his gems.
Mr. Miyagi over here.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what inspires people, you know what I mean, and keep people going. That's what the podcast. That's why I love. I look forward to the podcast.
Hey, we're gonna call it Miyagi moments.
Miyagi, yes, Miyagi, I like that. Yep, where they earn the crown. Where they earn the crown. Hashtag earn the crown. Yep, that's what it is.
Monday, Miyagi moments.
Monday,
Monday, right?
Oh no doubt. I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah, go
Miyagi
ahead.
moments. And when we start posting more,
Yes.
it's gonna be big. But
Yes,
we're looking forward to the next when we come on and talk the faith base. I can't wait for
We
those
got it.
gems. I
In
can't
2
wait.
weeks, in
We
2
got it.
weeks,
Yes.
faith-based.
We got
Yes,
it.
I can't wait for those gems, those quotes, those Bible
yeah.
quotes. I mean, because in the Bible, there is mention about barbering.
Mm.
Yes, we're gonna talk about that too.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna talk about those moments and break it down in Leviticus.
There's a lot of wisdom in that
There's
book.
plenty.
A lot of wisdom in
There's
that book.
plenty.
Life wisdom.
There's plenty that's gonna be applied to barbers. That's gonna take you to the next level.
Yes, sir.
That's gonna make you want to just like, man, I need this in my life.
I'm gonna have to read that thing.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna have to put a like on it. Yeah, I'm gonna put a like on that thing. You know what I mean? That's
Yes,
what it's
sir.
about. I put a like. Let me put a like on. That's what the like should go to.
Yeah.
I need to put a like on that. Oh, okay. For real? I didn't know that was there. We're gonna enlighten you.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Big. So what do you guys thought about the podcast today? What do you?
Man.
Great. Network is great.
Hey, your network is your net worth.
Mm-hmm.
And once you
Right.
understand that, it's golden, right?
Yes.
But what you like about the episode is sitting down and just chopping it up about it.
About experience,
Yes.
you know. You gotta help someone have a great experience. And it's up to you.
Yes, individually.
The cards is in your hands.
Oh yes, balls in your court.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah, customer experience is everything. And like I said, getting back to that, let's get back to basics.
Yes,
the
sir.
basic
Basics,
things.
yeah.
Hi, how are you today?
Right.
That opens up a lot of conversation.
Value
some-
in people.
Value in people.
So if you can like throw a couple tips out there for a student who's struggling having a conversation,
Yeah.
where should they start? What kind of tips can you guys throw at them?
Come out of your comfort zone. Ask questions. Get to know the person that you're encountering in that moment. Make them feel important. Go extra. Go beyond, above and beyond. Like you, this dude follow me outside the shop. I'm like, wow.
Right.
You know, be willing to meet somebody 7 in the
Yes.
morning because they need to get a haircut to go to their grandmama's funeral instead of saying, nah, man, I ain't open that early. No, meet that customer.
And it's not every day you do that.
right.
Right.
Because everybody's not gonna ask you that every day. Because the chances of happening is slim, but when they come, you relish those moments.
Yeah.
Because those are great moments to even get to know that client and talk to them on a personal level. And you might even cheer them up because they might be going through a time when they need that one-on-one conversation.
Right. And for people who may be, I don't want to say awkward, but maybe shy, socially
Mhm.
shy, whatever, just like get out and start going places in
Right.
public and just interacting with people, and just carrying on conversations and just getting out of your shell, as you
Mm.
say, and just, start from there.
What I recommend to a lot of students is if there's a chapter in the book that you're real comfortable, that you like, ask the instructor, the teacher, if you could help teach that chapter.
Oh,
Mm.
wow.
That's good.
Because you're talking to people you're comfortable around, your parents. And
Right.
typically those classrooms about the max maybe 12, 15 students. Sometimes the smallest maybe 3 or 4 or 5. So help yourself in those settings while you're in school, teaching a chapter that you like, or just come up with something that you are real creative in,
Mhm.
something that you know that you're really good in and that you want to share with people, that you're so comfortable with. It could be talking about animation. You know what, Mr. Murphy, on Friday that you let me just talk to the class about animation. I'm really interested in it. It's going to help me
Mm.
learn and orate myself better. I want to be able to better speak. I want to be able to work on talking to my clients.
Yeah.
Can I talk to in front of the class about anime? And the instructor's going to say, yeah, more often than not,
Yes, sir.
because you're coming from a different angle and each one teaches one.
Right.
And having the confidence to do that, because
Yeah.
we all can sit there and think that, man, I'd really like to get up and do whatever, but have the confidence to come to Craig and say, hey, can I teach on this? Or can I
Right,
speak
right.
to the class on this? Have the confidence to do that.
And role play. Don't underestimate what role playing do for you in the school setting
Mm.
with your peers. Role play how you're going to talk to clients. Role play how you're going to talk to little kids. Role play how you want to talk to just people. Role play, ask for advice, and watch different people role play because everyone is going to come with a different approach.
Right.
And you can pick something up.
Hey, and smile while you do
And
it.
smile while you. I mean, no, that's number one.
Yeah.
Smile, put a smile on your face. It is so open when people come in and see a smile
Yeah.
because that's like the guy who's dressed up in a suit. He walks with confidence.
Mm.
He takes apart his briefcase. Everything's in velvet wraps. He's smelling good. He looks good. He's smiling. I want to see what's up with him. He got something to talk about.
Oh yeah.
And when he set himself apart like that, his haircut prices might be exuberant. You're gonna pay it because you see
That
how he's
experience.
that
Oh, yeah.
experience. And that's how easy it is to set yourself apart, students out there. Be the first one in. Come to school well groomed, well dressed, your hair combed, your fingernails cut, your teeth brushed.
Yeah.
I mean, just be groomed, your clothes pressed. Don't look like you just roll out the bed because people will notice those things.
Oh, they do.
Yes.
And people notice if you're talking to them and focusing on them, or if you're on your phone the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pet peeve of mine. Barbers who are on the phone while they're cutting hair. Anybody in the industry, why would you want to be? The client came to you and they want you.
They want your attention.
They want your attention. They want to
Right.
ask you, can you do this on this side? It's a little bit too high. They can't even ask you a question
Mm.
because you're on the phone and they feel because you're so closed, you might lash out on them.
Mm.
I can't tell you how many clients or people I have talked to who are afraid to talk to the service provider who they're getting their haircuts from.
Mm.
A lot.
Wow. And that goes against your customer service.
It goes against it. You should never be afraid to talk to the barber who's cutting your hair.
Come on now.
I mean, why?
I mean, every week or every 2 weeks, I get my nails done. That's my therapy
Mm.
because
That's
it's my
good.
time to sit, relax, talk, whatever. That's my therapy. That's
Yeah.
how I see it.
And you want to be able to give feedback.
Right.
You want to be able to receive feedback.
And I'm comfortable. It's that experience. It really is.
An experience.
Ultimately, man, this was a great podcast.
That's why we
Yeah.
keep going back to Disney.
Yes. I mean, but for real though, I
Yeah.
mean, that's honorable because it makes you smile. You can wake up in the morning and be like, man, this is great. This is great. I can't wait to come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the experience with your family is
Mm.
worth so much more than diamonds and gold.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And you're willing to pay for it.
Yes.
Yes.
It's so, and it's because that gift is for a lifetime.
Yeah.
That gift is for a lifetime, and you can record every memory.
Mm.
That gift is for a lifetime. Those experiences right there don't
Hey,
go.
you ever notice that? Well, you're a barber, but I'm a customer. If you go into a barber shop and there's a guy with his chair open, but the one guy you want to cut your hair has somebody in their chair,
You're going to wait.
you're gonna wait on that.
Right.
You are.
If that barber helps you have a great experience, you
You
don't
gonna
care
wait.
how many chairs are open. You're gonna wait an extra hour to get your hair cut right in
And
that
tip
chair.
him good too. Tip him good.
But that's the point right there. You can separate yourself because there's not enough people willing to take the time to separate. Not enough people willing to take their time and give people an experience. Not enough people care enough.
Mm.
They think that you're just supposed to patronize them every time, no matter what.
And you
wonder,
can't take that for granted.
yeah, you can't. And question themselves, why am I not growing?
Mm.
Why am I losing luster for this industry? Why is my income not getting better?
Mm.
Why are people looking at me, shunning me when they come into the shop? Why are they doing that? Because of the things you do.
Mm.
And you got to take that moment to be able to reinvest in yourself, right? Now, don't leave it. Don't let you have to reinvest in yourself and say, what is it that I'm missing? Like you said, training or whatever the case may be. And those are moments where you got to reinvest in yourself
You do.
to get it going again.
And sometimes when you reinvest in yourself, you got to reinvent yourself.
Yes.
That too.
Yep. The students out there, again, thank you for listening to another great episode.
Yes, sir.
I'll let these guys close out and talk about themselves, where you can meet them, where you can reach them, and talk about the industry and their craft. Again, you have a phone number you want to let people hear about. You want people to know about what you're doing. And
Yeah.
where can they reach you?
Visit my website at aarontmurphy.com. You can find out all about me. And community service outlets, also in local government and national leadership. So I'm here to serve people and help people be what they're created to be.
And NRC Design Solutions, you can reach me at 423-943-6604. I'm here to help any business get started, restart, reinvent, whatever you need. Give me a call. I got you.
Not just business, but people also in the barber cosmetology industry too. You can point them in the right direction
Absolutely.
because they are their own business person.
Yes.
They have their own company.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a barber, you're a beautician, aesthetics, manicure, you are your own person. You are your own business entity. And you need people like Natanya to help you get to the next level.
Yeah, shout out to my buddies Jordan and Ammi. I missed y'all this week.
Oh yes,
Those my buddies.
We're gonna come back strong. We got
Oh,
another
yeah.
banging episode.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for listening to Barber College Success, brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy Bristol, Crown Cuts Academy JC, where we enroll students every Tuesday of the month. We offer financial aid and Pell Grant. We also offer the GI Bill. Come change your career. Come live a prosperous and wonderful life in this industry. This is a $35 billion industry yearly. So if you know someone out there who's trying to change a career, who's looking for advice into finding something that can help them live prosperous, have a passion, have a goal, and elevate in this wonderful industry of ours, come check us out. Give us a shot. And pretty soon, in the beginning of the year, we come with Proficient Nail Academy, the first standalone manicure school in Johnson City, which will be downtown Johnson City for the masses. Come check us out. We're going to show you guys how to elevate yourself. We have a boss instructor, one of the best in the world, in the country. She's going to be teaching nails at Proficient Nail Academy, coming soon by the first of the year, downtown Johnson City. Look out. Be square and be near. Again, spreading love the Tri-City way is one way, but spreading love the Crown Cuts way is the only way. Peace.